Namaskar, good morning to all of you. Sri B.S. Balachandran, Chairman of CBSS, our guest who has come here from the Skill Ministry, Dr. K.K. Dwivedi, Joint Secretary, MSDE, Sri Saig Mohsen, Vice Chairman, CBSS, Sri M.M. Hassan, former Minister and Chairman, Jayashree Microfinance Limited, Darli Koshi, who has been a mentor, who has done a splendid job of explaining about what all things are happening, and Madam Jaya Sri Kumar, and all the delegates who have come from different parts of the country, from different units of BSS. The very fact that the name Bharat Sevak Samaj, I was looking at it, it contains Bharat, the India. We'll need to take this country forward. Development of this country is the mission. Sevak, we are Sevaks. We want to serve the country. And that spirit of service is behind this. And it is a Samaj, society. So the entire society needs to be galvanized in order to make the development of this country and formally come into existence 70 years ago, but otherwise in history of 170 years. And we have had independence for the last 75 years. We are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav. During such a juncture, and in the last 8 years, the emphasis on skill is gaining importance. There has been a special Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, which is so important for a country with a history of several thousand years. We all talk about Germany, South Korea, Australia. They are having people with more than 80% skilled manpower, 90% skilled manpower, and so on. And in our country, we don't have enough skilled manpower. It is only hovering around 20% itself. But look at our ancient times. Every village was skilled. Every individual was skilled. Because of some type of education which came in, and we started losing base in terms of skilling of our manpower, and because of the industrial revolution, large-scale production started, many of our skills lost. And that's why re-energizing this is very, very important, and Bharat Sevak Samaj has been doing wonderfully well. As Koshi mentioned in the beginning, all variety of things that are required to be done, he elaborated, and then whether it is Ministry of Skill, whether it is Ministry of Education, whether it is BSS, we need to work together. And most important part is, why are we segregating education from skills? Although there are two different ministries, someday it should merge, because every individual who gets education must also have some skills. Without skills, education is useless. And without education, skills are also useless, because they may not be able to achieve their best performance if they are not educated. They may get cheated, and therefore, both education and skills are as important for each individual in the country, and that's why when they talk about Sarvodaya of Mahatma Gandhiji was talked about, or the Antyodaya of the present government, which is talking about going to the last man in the village, in a tribal area, also to be empowered by way of not only education, by skills, so that they are employable, they are entrepreneurial, and they contribute to the development of the economy of the nation. It is 1.35 billion population. It's not small. And the youth in the age group of 15 to 29, who are the demographic dividend creators, if you don't support them, if you don't mentor them, if you don't give them that right kind of education along with skills, I think they will not be able to contribute to the economy of the country. And that's why this whole initiative of BSS is very important. Just now, in my hands, they asked me to release this voucher of BHASRIC, Bharat Skill Research and Innovation Center. And very exciting that we all talk about research, we all talk about innovation in the higher education system, and mostly in the domain of science, technology, medicine. Research has great importance, certainly importance, because the new technologies which get emerged, the applications of that for the society are very important and significant for the jobs, job creation, and also for the development of economy, which we are talking about 5 trillion now immediately, and then 10 trillion economy. Those will certainly serve a big purpose. But without skills, it's not possible, and that's why why should there not be research in providing skill sets? And I think it's a wonderful idea that research need not be only in high-end scientific research, but it can also be in the domain of skills. How these skills can be imparted effectively, there has been no research made because the numbers are so large. We don't have so many trained teachers, faculty members, and therefore research in doing all of this as to effectively do it at a low cost, affordable cost is also very, very important. I remember a few years ago, there was a setup which was developed for welding. We all know that welding requires very high-end skills, and also it requires a lot of input in terms of money, whether it is the welding rod, the welding gun, and then the atmosphere you require to cover it. Instead of that, by creating a virtual welding machine where by using the technique of using the principles of electricity and the resistance, etc., you have a long wire and you create a gun which is of the same type while handling, but you move it, and the distance between the rod and the metal where it is welded has to be just about 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter. If it is more, the spark gets extinguished. If you got close, then also get extinguished. And therefore, that talent you require to acquire, and for that, if you start moving it on a virtual setup where there is no expenditure involved, one-time expenditure, and then you can train thousands of them. But the actual welding, anyway, they have to be trained. And the same thing is happening in terms of whether it is pilot training for aircraft, whether it is in terms of ships, whether it is in terms of simulators. They are all commonplace today. And therefore, research in creating such simulators in almost all the domains of skilling are important. Thereby, from place to place, in every place, the skill can be provided. That is an initial skill. Of course, they will have to work on the actual machine, where the tools are required to be used. Subsequently, our 80% of the cost can reduce, and we can reach out to more number of people through this use of technology. And that is what this center is required to do. There is a mention of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, which are all emerging areas of technology. And unless these technologies are also made use of in order to understand the weaknesses of the people where they lack, and then how do you overcome them, there will not be any use of using the tools like AI. And my request is AICTE, which handles the technical institutions, about 3,000 plus engineering colleges, another 2,500 polytechnics. They have excellent workshops, laboratories. These facilities must be made use of by every citizen of the country, and BSS is most welcome to make use of these facilities. On our own, we have started advocating that there are children who get off the education sector at the 5th standard, at the 8th standard, 10th standard, 12th standard, and therefore our gross enrollment ratio, although in the school education is now near more than 95%, when it comes to 5th standard, it gets down, again goes down, and it is only 27% in the higher education. So there is a moral responsibility on all the higher education institutions, their management, the faculty members, that they need to train those unfortunate people who had to leave the schools in between, 5th, 8th, 10th. And therefore, we have a scheme called Karma, where any student who has left the school from the nearby region, please pick them up. Give them the skill training in your institutions so that they do not remain idle. You talked about NEET. That is, not in education, not in employment, and not in training. If not giving employment, not education, at least give training. And that's what I want our institutions to take forward, give training to our students from their colleges. Not only that, in their own college also, students who are finding difficulty in undertaking the education which they have taken up, maybe the courses which are there, they came in because of the pressure of the parents, peers, and they are not fitting well, but their interest lies somewhere else. Why can't we give them those skills so that They may score less marks in their normal curriculum, but do well in the skill domain. This is another area under Karma which we are doing. The third area is, right from childhood, we want that children should be aware of the various types of skills which are possible, where employment is possible, what are the opportunities that are possible. So each college faculty and also senior students should go to the nearby schools and do the awareness campaign. Another thing which Chairman said was about awareness. There is a lack of awareness amongst our students, and that's why there is a big rush to go to either engineering college or medical college. But there are a huge number of opportunities that exist in the domain of job, and therefore, how do you create that interest on one side? And secondly, once we start doing skilling from the school education, which is talked about in the National Education Policy from the 6th standard onwards, for the next 6 years till they become 12th standard, at least 2-3 skills they should learn. It has two advantages. They will become employable right at the time of 12th standard passing. And secondly, they will all realize the difficulties, the hard work that is involved in the skilling, that involves dignity of labor also is going to be trained. I think these are very important initiatives of the government which have been going on. My best wishes for the 70th year celebration of the Central Bharat Sevak Samaj. There are many challenges ahead, but when there are challenges, they give us opportunities. Let us make use of this as opportunities and go ahead, serve the society, सेवक समाज. तो हम समाज को ऐसा निर्माण करेंगे जिससे हमारी सेवा के वजह से भारत एक बहुत ही उत्कृष्ट देश बन के दुनिया के सबसे बेहतरीन देशों में से बने जाएगा. नमस्कार.